guys, welcome to my Ocean One channel. We got an 8K today, so I want to go over that with you. I've been driving most of the day. After I left work, I drove about 150 miles, I guess, roughly, probably a little bit more. But I was doing tests over the solar panel on the ocean, but that's another story. I'm sure you guys are interested in the 8K. I was actually in Richmond, Kentucky when I got the email that said, we'd got a new file in, and I'm like, oh no, I can't read that on my phone. So I got home about 10 minutes ago, scanned over it, cut and pasted what I felt like was really important, and that's what I have here for you. So before I get into that, let's get into the YouTube disclaimers and get those out of the way. None of my content constitutes professional advice. Viewers that follow any content, suggestions, statements, anything from this channel, do so at their own risk because you are responsible for your own actions. All right, let's jump right into it. What I have done here is I read the 8K at, a blistering pace, trying to pick out what I thought was super important and then, deleting the rest. I basically copied and pasted the whole thing. And then as I read stuff that I didn't feel like was appropriate for the channel or, that lawyer language jargon that just bogs you down, I just deleted all of that, and I've got it down to just a few bullet points here. So I'm going to have to look down and read. I know I've got a reflection with my glasses here from my Chromebook, but it's just going to have to be what it is because I can't read it very well without it. And this is stuff that I don't know, and I don't want to misquote it. So I'm just going to start here. My first bullet point, let's just start from the beginning. It says on April the 21st, the obligors and the investor entered into a forbearance agreement for a period commencing on April the 21st, 2024 and ending on the earlier of May the 1st, 2024. So basically right there we have another extension. Our extension was up Sunday. We got a new extension, goes out to May the 1st. So the first thing I would say is that is positive because we're not filing for bankruptcy. We got another extension. The note holder must see something here, or I don't think we would be getting another extension. Second thing, provide the investor with a 13-week budget and cash flow forecast. Now, I'm skipping a bunch of stuff here, okay? I'm just concising it down. Provide the investor with a 13-week budget and cash flow forecast for the company and its subsidiaries in a form and substance acceptable to the investor. So, if we're going bankrupt, why do they want a budget? That's my thoughts. Establish a committee of the board of directors of the company and along with its U.S. subsidiaries, appoint a chief restructuring officer, CRO, chief restructuring officer, who shall have sole authority with respect to, among other things, decision-making regarding the sale process of the business and or assets of the company and its subsidiaries. So, you read that and it scares you to death, right? We're selling off the company. That is a possibility. On April the 16th, 2024, Mark E. Hickson resigned from the board and the audit committee of the board. Mr. Hickson's resignation was not a result of any disagreement from the company. These board members sure didn't do us much good while they were there, did they? On April the 21st, 2024, the board appointed Michael Healy as Chief Restructuring Officer of the company. Mr. Healy is a Senior Managing Director of FTI Consulting, a management advisory and consulting firm. Mr. Healy specializes in restructuring and reorganizations. Okay, let's continue. I'll provide my thoughts on that in a minute. Mr. Healy has served as a Chief Restructuring Officer, President, Chief Executive Officer, and Chief Financial Officer to distressed companies previously. Fisker is definitely distressed, right? Mr. Healy has extensive experience which includes advising companies, creditors, shareholders, and other interested parties on restructuring transactions, both in Chapter 11 and in non-bankruptcy driven resolutions. I hope we stay out of Chapter 11. If we go into Chapter 11, the shareholders probably don't come out too well, if they come out at all. I would much rather, do this in a non-bankruptcy fashion. I'm reading a little more after that. Now, therefore, in consideration of the foregoing, the terms, covenants, and conditions contained herein, and other good and valuable consideration, the receipt and sufficiency of which are hereby acknowledged, the parties agree as follows. Now, it goes through a bunch of stuff here that they agree to. So, when you're reading all of this, it goes through the stuff that they're agreeing to, the transaction documents, stuff like that. But I went and I singled this part out because I felt like this was the most important part. The aggregate unpaid principal amount of the notes is $180,550,000. Now, it goes on to say that does not include fees and interest and stuff like that. So, basically we know what we owe the note holder here, which I speculated was $180 million in one of my other videos, but I wasn't entirely sure. So anytime I'm not sure on stuff like that, I do like to say that, and I like to back off from it. So let's continue, because we only have one more really important thing here that I got from the 8K. Pursuant to the terms of the forbearance agreement, if the investor has not accepted an offer for the purchase of its notes by 12:01 a.m. on April the 25th, 2024, Mr. Healy will be immediately and automatically replaced by John D. DiDottano, I don't know how to say his name, as Chief Restructuring Officer. Okay, what does all this mean to me, and is it positive? Well, sorry. Okay, my little clicker stopped working there for a moment. Battery might be getting low or something. All right, let's try to recap here very quickly, and then I want to tell you my thoughts on it. Well, I think let's just recap. Okay, I'm doing this on the fly. I just got home. I've not had a lot of time to think about this, so these are my initial impressions. My initial impressions are that this is positive. Is it super positive? No, because we're fire selling the oceans. We're in a bad way. I think we still need a miracle. I don't dispute any of that, but I do take this as mostly positive news. Let's walk through why I think it's mostly positive news. We got another extension. Why give an extension if you're not working with the parties? Okay, if we weren't coming together, if we weren't in some type of agreement, I don't think there would be an extension, so I consider that positive. The note holder is asking the company to submit a budget. So apparently, Fisker's thinking, okay, yeah, we can do this. We agreed to that, and they're going to do that. So again, I view that as a positive. We can submit a budget, and we will submit a budget. This CRO, though, that's the one that gives me pause, because you can look at that two totally separate ways. You can look at that as, it's over, or you can look at that as, it's not. And maybe it's somewhere in the middle, okay? Because anytime you get into restructuring, you just never know how that's going to look for shareholders, for the Class A shareholders. Sometimes they come out okay. Most of the time, they get written off and new shares get issued. So I'm hoping that one would revolve around, the non-bankruptcy part there. So I would consider that pretty much neutral at this point until we see the direction that is taken here. Now, let's continue. I don't make much of the board member leaving. I just, those guys are dropping like flies. They didn't seem to do much for us while they were there. They didn't prevent this, so, here we are. So I don't make much of that. But let's get into this Mr. Healy. Mr. Healy has served as a Chief Restructuring Officer, both in Chapter 11, which I hope we avoid. Desperately hope we avoid that. And non-bankruptcy driven resolution. So I'm hoping that that's where he's coming in. He's coming in with a non-bankruptcy solution here. Now, the next thing is, we know the amount that we owe the note holder. Could we have raised that much from selling the oceans? I think we could have gotten close. Now, we had a little money, okay, but I think that would pretty much wipe us out to pay the note holder, at this point, so I don't know how that's going to play out. But let's read the last sentence here. Pursuant to the terms of forbearance, if the investor has not accepted an offer for the purchase of its notes by 12:01 a.m. To me, I might be wrong, okay? Totally admit that. But to me, that screams that Fisker is offering the note holder an offer. What is that offer? I don't know. Is it a partial payment? Is it payments? I don't know. I speculate that Fisker is trying to remove the note holder here. That would be my best speculation. You know, trying to come to an agreement and remove, I'm sorry, my nose is itching off, trying to remove the note holder here. Can we do that? Will we do that? I don't know, but we have until April the 25th to pull it off, or they bring in another guy, John DiDottano. Now, I find that strange, you know, that they've already got a person set up automatically to replace this guy. This is a little out of my area, so I'm not sure what to make of that. Now, holistically, when I look at this holistically, I take this to be positive. I don't see how you look at this totally as negative. Yes, you can look at it as, hey man, you're screwed. You're going chapter 11. You can definitely take that approach, but I try to be positive and I try to look at things as objectively as possible and as fairly as possible. And when I look at all of this holistically, I see groups, I see entities working together. I see an extension. I see you create a budget. And we can go from there. And I also see them trying to buy out the note holder in some fashion, whether, you know, that's a partial buyout. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. Pure speculation on my part. All right. That's my thoughts on the 8K. Now, what does this tell me in a nutshell? Fisker lives to fight another day. What I would encourage you guys to do is help the company in any way that you can. Be positive. When you have negative things to say, offer solutions. Always offer solutions. And hopefully, Fisker comes out of this, you know. Keep hoping for a miracle. If you're a praying person, keep praying for a miracle. I know that's what I'm doing. I'm praying for a miracle here. And I hope we get one because I love driving the Ocean. It's a very cool vehicle. All right, guys. That's all I got for you. If you're enjoying my content, hit the like button. Feel free to share my content if you think it's worth sharing with anybody. I have no issues with that at all. And if you've not subscribed, consider subscribing. I'll do my best on this stuff that I can. Some of this stuff is a little over my head. Some of that lawyer language is tough, but usually if I'm interested in something, I can usually figure it out if I'm interested in it. So I picked out the stuff here that I thought was super important, and that's what I shared with you guys. And if you see something in the filing that you think is super important, you know, point it out to me, and I'll take a second look at it. All right, guys, thanks for joining in. Thanks a lot, and until next time.